This is the older woman I'm talking about. The one who didn't walk into my life like a storm. She walked in like a calm wind, slow, steady, and unnoticed at first. I didn't expect her. I didn't look at her the way people expect a young man to look at someone older. But there was something in her presence that felt different, not forced, not loud, just real. She spoke less, but said more. She moved slower, but with more meaning. She didn't try to be impressive, and maybe that's what made her unforgettable. The first time we sat down and talked, I felt like someone had finally turned the noise down around me. She didn't interrupt. She didn't rush to reply. She just listened, and that was new to me. I've been around people who talk to be heard. She talked to understand. She didn't care about who I was trying to be. She cared about who I really was, beneath the pride, the image, the habits I wore like armor. This woman, she saw through all of that, and she didn't flinch. She didn't back away when I got quiet. She didn't panic when I didn't know how to express myself. That's why I keep talking about her. Not because of her age, not because she's older, but because she's wiser in all the ways that actually matter. She made me feel like I didn't have to perform, like I didn't have to be strong all the time. And when you've carried yourself alone for a long time, that kind of softness, it doesn't feel small. It feels like home. There were moments she surprised me, not with big gestures or perfect timing, but with the kind of presence most people don't even notice is rare. Like the time I was quiet for too long, and instead of asking what was wrong, she simply said, "It's okay, you don't have to talk. I'm still here." She didn't need explanations. She didn't press for answers. She just made space for me in a way no one else ever had. It was the first time I realized not every silence is meant to be filled. Some are meant to be shared. And when she did speak, it was always something I didn't know I needed to hear. Not advice in a lecturing kind of way, but reflections, real, lived truths from someone who had already walked through the same fires I was still learning to name. She once told me, "You don't have to rush to figure everything out. Peace doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from being okay with not knowing it all." And I remember sitting there just breathing slower, because for once I felt seen, not sized up. She didn't judge me for being young. She didn't treat me like I was lost. She treated me like I was growing, and she respected that growth instead of demanding I move faster. I didn't realize how deeply that kind of understanding would affect me. It wasn't about attraction. It wasn't about proving anything. It was about how she made me feel, safe in my uncertainty, comfortable in my confusion, and never less than, because I hadn't figured it all out yet. This is why I talk about her. Not because she's older, but because she's present in a way most people aren't. What started as quiet moments turned into something deeper. Not rushed, not labeled, just real. I didn't even realize it was happening at first. But slowly something in me started to shift. I started feeling safer around her than I did with people my age. Not because she tried harder, but because she didn't try at all. She just was. Her calm taught me to slow down. Her honesty taught me to stop pretending, and her attention. It reminded me that love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just being there when no one else is. She never made me feel like I had to earn her care. She never praised me just for showing effort, like love was something I had to compete for. Instead, she'd say things like, "You don't have to be more than you already are to be valued." And I'd sit there quietly realizing that maybe all this time I'd been giving myself away to people who only saw pieces of me. But she She saw all of me and still chose to stay. It made me think differently about love. It made me understand that maturity isn't about age, it's about how you handle someone's heart. She handled mine gently, never rushed it, never pushed it. She made love feel like something I didn't have to chase. And for a man who was always told to be strong, to keep moving, to never get too attached, that kind of love, the kind that says you can rest here, it changes you. It makes you stop searching. It makes you stop doubting. It makes you believe that maybe, just maybe, you are worthy of the kind of love that feels like peace instead of pressure. Being with her taught me something I didn't expect: how to love better. Not just how to feel love, but how to give it back in ways that actually matter. Before her, I thought love was about doing more, buying the right things, saying the right words, showing up even when I had nothing left in me, because I was afraid of losing people. But she taught me love doesn't always look like effort. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Sometimes it's quiet support, or choosing to listen instead of fix, or simply respecting someone's space without taking it personally. She never needed grand gestures. She appreciated thoughtfulness, consistency, the little things, and that made me look at myself differently. It made me slow down, pay closer attention, and learn how to be present without trying to control the moment. I started doing small things with more intention, not to impress her, but because I finally understood the language of real love. She'd notice when I remembered what tea she liked. She'd smile when I sat beside her, without needing to speak. She'd place her hand over mine when I let her see the parts of me I used to hide. And she'd say, "Z, that's love, simple, steady, honest." With her, I grew, not because she pushed me, but because she made space for me to be soft and still feel strong. That's what made her different. She didn't just give love, she helped build it in me. And because of her, I now carry a version of love that isn't afraid to go slow, to go deep, to stay. There was a moment, small, quiet, but it changed everything. We were sitting together, not doing anything special, just existing in the same space, breathing the same air, sharing the same silence. She was reading, I was just watching her, thinking about how peaceful everything felt. No pressure to talk, no need to fill the space with noise. And it hit me, right there. She had yet become essential to my peace. Not because I depended on her to fix me, not because she made life perfect, but because around her, I finally felt like myself, without fear, without filters, without all the weight I usually carried around. It was the kind of calm I didn't even know I was looking for until I found it. She didn't make me question my worth. She didn't make me guess if I mattered. She made me sure. And in a world that constantly made me feel like I had to fight for love, prove myself to be chosen, or earn someone's attention, she made me feel like just being there was enough. That moment, as small as it was, shifted something inside me. I realized she wasn't just someone I cared about. She was someone who helped me understand myself. She taught me what it meant to be loved without performance, to be cared for without conditions, to be seen in full and still be embraced with softness. This is the older woman I'm talking about. The one who didn't just touch my heart, she quieted my soul. Since she came into my life, my view of the future changed. Not in some big flashy way, but in small quiet thoughts that started showing up in everyday moments. I'd see a chair by the window and think, she'd love to sit there with her tea. I'd walk past a bookstore and imagine us browsing the shelves together, talking softly about stories and life and nothing at all. Before her, my future felt like something far away, uncertain, blurry, unshaped. But now, it feels softer, warmer, more real, because now I can picture not just success, not just goals, but peace. And she's there in all of it, not because she's flashy or demands to be seen, but because she simply fits. Her presence isn't something that takes up space. It creates space for comfort, for truth, for love that's not in a rush. And I know some people might not understand. They might look at us and ask questions. They might see the age, the difference in years, and assume it's strange or that it won't last. But they don't see the way she looks at me like I'm more than enough. They don't feel the calm she brings just by being in the room. They don't know how she makes me better without even trying. So no, I'm not looking for approval, because love like this, true love, doesn't always make sense to others. It only has to make sense to the two hearts involved. And mine, it's never been more sure. This is the woman I want beside me. Not because she completes me, but because she reminds me that I was already whole. And that being seen, really seen, is the most beautiful feeling in the world. We've faced things, quiet things. The kind people don't say to your face, but you feel in their glances, in their tone, in the way conversations shift when you walk into the room together. Some people smile politely, but you can tell they're wondering, why her? Why someone older? What could he possibly see in her? And at first I felt the weight of it, felt like I had to explain myself, justify something that didn't need justifying. But she never flinched, never changed. She didn't try to prove her worth, because she knew it. And the way she carried herself taught me something important. Love doesn't beg to be understood. It just continues to be. She never asked me to defend us. She just showed up every day with the same calm, the same care, the same steady love that reminded me what really matters. And slowly I stopped caring about opinions, because what I have with her isn't for display. We should. It's not for anyone's approval. It's ours. And the more time passed, the more I realized the way she listens to me, supports me, challenges me in the softest ways. No one has ever done that. This woman has sat with me on my lowest days, celebrated me without jealousy, and held my emotions without calling me weak. She sees me without conditions, without assumptions, without needing me to be anything more than human. And if the world can't understand that, that's okay, because the only person I needed to understand me already does.